Impersonal calamity means basically we declare that all variety, all taste, all beauty, every feeling, every experience is all false. We declare that all this doesn't exist, and actually, simply, it has to be given up. This is the impersonal calamity. Those who don't understand that there is a Supreme Lord with unlimited qualities that are amazing in all respect, and that Supreme Lord is a God with a heart, a God who cares about all living beings, that He is very eager to somehow or other benedict all the living beings. That makes Him quite wonderful. Who has this concept? We don't see that. We see Michelangelo's God on a cloud, looking heavy, being old, sour-faced, finger pointing down. All right. Where's that concept of a very compassionate Supreme Personality of Godhead? That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He took sannyas and was unlimitedly compassionate. He was an ocean of compassion. His whole life was benedicted, was aimed at benedicting others when he took sannyas. But what about his wife? 16 years old, and he left her. And yesterday we mentioned it. And isn't it cruel? I mean, wasn't she suffering? And his mother as well, his aged mother. There he had a young wife, 16 years old, and an old mother, old dependent mother. And he left them both, just walked out. How could he be so cruel, so hard-hearted, not caring? Is that your compassion? But we should understand that when a man takes sannyas and leaves his wife, it's not the same like a divorce, where you try to erase someone from your life. The rubber, erase the picture of the former partner, get rid of this, get rid of the memory, get every trace of this person out of my life. Right? And a man leaves his former wife. Divorce. Sannyas is different. Because the wife continues to follow the husband. She continues to follow the husband in that spirit of surrender. Although now separated, her eyes are still focused on the husband, and thus she is following him in his vow of renunciation. And it is said that the wife, she shares in the benefits of the husband. There is, according to the Vedic culture, or Vedic scripture rather, there is some benefit in being a wife over being a husband. It's better to be a wife than being a husband in one sense, because a wife, even if she doesn't perform devotional service, she shares in the benefit of the husband automatically. Not a bad deal, not bad at all. And thus, Vishnupriya was sharing in the spiritual advancement of her husband, and she herself, although very young, became extremely advanced. And we know that she was chanting on grains of rice, 1 round, and she put just, instead of counting beads, 15 by the way. Instead of counting beads, she put 1 grain of rice for 1 round. And then, at the end of the day, whatever grains of rice she had collected, that she would cook for lunch. I think one day I want to try it, just to see how many grains of rice I could get in a day. It could be a good way to lose some weight. Yeah? You could consider it. Yeah? The Hare Krishna weight loss program. just do a Vishnu Priya for a week, right? And sure enough, you lose lots of kilos. Weight loss guaranteed, never fails. Yes, one round, 1 grain of rice. God, how many grains of rice are you going to get? So she was following this program, and not only was she separated from her husband when he took sannyas, but he also left the planet when he was 48 years. And she lived until her 90s. So many years. She went on without him. But it didn't distract her at all. She was never deterred because she was, by his mercy, she had become very, very deep in her devotional service. And she worshipped a large, life-sized form of the Lord, who stood like this. And we still see that deity now in Navadvip. He's known as Dhameshwar. And the hands are like this, because it's a personal exchange of mercy. Not like this, which is the general mercy. And just see how Lord Chaitanya's hands are here. Yeah? Not like that, give it to everybody, but somehow or other, the personal exchange of mercy. So, in one way, Lord Chaitanya, when his hands are like this, is actually relating to us. That mercy now, he gives it to us directly and personally. And thus we can approach him like that. Because not only was his wife sharing in the ecstasy, so she didn't miss anything. Although she was in separation of the Lord, she didn't miss anything. Rather, she was also automatically getting the benefit. And because her husband had made this sacrifice of sannyas, she followed him. And then she also got the strength to somehow or other be renounced. In this way sannyas works. In this way it is not cruel upon the family, actually. Lord Chaitanya then continued to preach, and but at the same time, glorifying Krishna. He was never thinking, oh well, I have to preach. And no, he was simply, preaching was natural. Preaching was a natural expansion of his mood. This is the mood of Lord Chaitanya and his devotees. We find a description about Narottam Das Thakur, which is very nice. And it is described in the Narottam Vilas, how Narottam Das Thakur, he appeared at an awkward time, because he appeared just after Lord Chaitanya left the planet. So that's like sort of the just missed program. As a little. And it happened again and again. Narottam, he just missed most of the Goswamis, and it just went on. His whole life story is like a just missed story. He goes and he tries to meet the Goswamis, and just when he arrives, they have just left the planet. Right? And then the next one has just left. Oh boy. So this whole Narottam Vilas is a story of an inconceivable experience of separation. It's just too much. I mean, really, it leads up to a point where you just say, oh, this is too much. This is too much. How can you tolerate it? I can't even tolerate reading it. It's like that. And then, just when Narottam is sort of deciding to give up his life, to just say, well, enough is enough. I mean, this is too much. I can't take it. And we sympathize with him. We say, yes, Narottam, we understand. Then Narottam has a dream. And the whole Panchatattva appears in the dream and begins to dance in the greatest ecstasy, and all the associates the eternal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.